Okay. That sounds cool. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going, everybody? Just got a little message right at the beginning of the video when I went to start it. It said, "This meeting is being recorded," which, I mean, it's not really a meeting. I guess we're in a meeting. We're in the YFYI podcast, but I don't know if you guys heard that or not. But yes, this meeting is being recorded for a rebroadcast. So hopefully you guys are doing good. Hopefully you're doing great. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening, watching, sharing, being here. This is the YFY podcast. I'm your host, Sunny D, back in the building, back in the studio, back behind the microphone in front of the camera to spend some time with you. Lots and lots and lots going on. For those of you guys who are totally plugged in and kind of hanging with me on the different channels, you've seen a lot of chatter about a brand new project that I'm going to share some of the information and shed some more light on with you guys, the YFY audience. But a brand new project that I'm working on, which when I started this project, I just called it the Scissor Project. And now it's officially become a brand, the launch of the new brand, which I'm repping right now. If you guys are watching, TANZŌ HASAMI is here. TANZŌHASAMI.com is born. TANZŌHASAMI.com is no longer a thought in the back of my head, but it's now an actual brand. We've already had a lot of great support, great response. People are checking it out, and we've got subscribers. I'll tell you more about that in a few minutes, but super excited to launch that. Super excited to talk to you guys. This is a little crossover podcast because I'm going to be sharing with you guys the Scissor Project. But if you're here as a YFY OG, a YFYI community member, your first year in the beauty industry, I talk all things business. I kind of give you updates on what's going on with my own businesses, talk about the current state and my current kind of reading, my a little temperature check, if you will, on what's happening in the state of the industry, the state of the beauty industry. Super excited to have you guys back. And for those of you who have already dug into the books, I'm not gonna ask you, any pop quiz questions, but you kind of know the flavor of when I'm producing or delivering content. These are going to be things that I share on this podcast, like always, that I'm experiencing. There's sometimes maybe if I have a vision and I see like, something that may be kind of on the horizon or around the corner, I'll definitely share that with you guys. But for the most part, I'm talking about experiences that I'm going through. This past year, it's been a whirlwind. I've been trying to stay as consistent as possible, keeping in touch with you guys, keeping in touch with the community. But I've also got this thing called a business, like my actual job of running the Salon 1.0 locations and our team and all of that stuff. So I've been, going through it just like you, like nobody got a pass. We're all, kind of coming out of the woods, hopefully. I still think we're probably 18 months away from really knowing, what the experience that we just went through, what the ramifications are. I don't think that it's like, okay, everybody's, got a vaccine and doesn't have to wear a mask and the pandemic is over. Because that's just the obvious stuff on the surface of getting past the virus initial effects. But then there's going to be the post pandemic, which is what we're kind of going through right now, which I called it the Corona economy when I started talking about this a little over a year ago on the podcast, and just how I'm looking at my business is totally different set of spectacles on. Normal, we talked about a little bit in the last episode, that the way that we thought it was going to be, or what we considered normal, that ship has sailed, that shit is dead. And where we're going now, which we can call, the now, which is where we're going, it's going to be totally different. And as I've been diversifying, I've been looking at my businesses. I've also been thinking about, things. And that's kind of the birthplace of a new idea. A lot of times, especially, for somebody like myself, where I started my business during a economic, pandemic, if you will, like an economic downturn. The housing market had just popped. I wasn't in the housing market, but the effects rippled through the entire economy and almost brought our, financial entire system, world financial system, to its knees. Similar happened now, but this actually affected every single person in a real indirect way. So, so many people were, laid off, lost their job. They were sent home. They were furloughed. They were quarantined. They had corona. Someone died that they had corona. I've had people that I've been in contact with, that have passed away from corona. So depending on where you're at, no one got a pass on this. The entire world is affected, was affected, and the effects are continuing. And so as we're starting to look at the beauty industry, I know for some of you guys who are just getting started, maybe you're like just coming into the beauty industry and you're wondering like, did I signed up for school. Now I'm in school. Did I make the wrong decision? I don't think you made the wrong decision. You made the best decision at the time for the information that you had, with the information that you had. No one saw this coming. Now, post, it's here now. Now what? I still think the beauty industry is a winner. I still think it's a great time to get into the beauty industry. But the way that you're getting in and the way that you're going to win in this beauty industry is going to be different than the beauty industry from before. How we're reaching out to guests. We're still using social media, but how are we, connecting with guests, especially when it's a new guest and you're trying to get a new guest. People are a little skittish. People are a little, they feel like, okay, I'm going to put myself at risk by leaving my house. So then, I got to stay away from everybody, so people have that thought. And then it's like, well, am I going to put myself at risk leaving my house, going into a salon, having somebody, rub on me and touch me for an hour, right? So there's going to be some hesitancy and pullback. I know in our company, we've done everything we can to make people feel comfortable. We're make people, feel safe and feel secure. And as a hairstylist, we are the kings of SMA, right? Sanitize, maintenance your area. We are the one, like, that's just what we do, right? We work with barbicide. We work with instruments. We work with, learning about pathogens and making our environment safe. So definitely, I think people feel safer in salons than they do in other places during this time. So, I think as I look at the beauty industry, a couple of things that I shared, on the size of my spaces, how they've gotten smaller over time. And I learned this a few years ago, having a huge salon and having to manage the finances of a huge salon versus managing the finances of a smaller salon. It's different size headaches, right? Bigger isn't always better. And at one point, I had what I call my ego salon, built a huge salon. And then you have a couple of key players, that are there at the time that decide they're going to leave it in that moment. Then you're faced with the reality of that revenue. Maybe there's a little bit of shortage. Some of the people that were following them, that would love them to death and went and followed them elsewhere. Now you have to deal with, how do you replace that revenue and rebuild? So if you have a bigger space, then that's a bigger headache. And that's even a bigger headache when something like that happens. So I've learned, and I've been looking at this, and I think, through this, it's accelerated. What's happened with the coronavirus and the pandemic has accelerated the process of, maybe you should redefine, what size your salon, like what the size of your salon looks like and why it's important. Maybe you need to redefine like your service menu. Maybe you need to redefine the value versus time, relationship. How do you look at, booking your guests that are coming in? If you're an independent, or if you're working, in a salon, all these things are on the table at all times. But the acceleration is what happened during the past, year, now going on 15 months. It was just the acceleration. And some people are quicker to react than others. Depends on where you were at. How quickly were you able to react, right? Versus respond, versus do nothing, right? Because you had three options. You could react, you could respond, or the third option, do nothing at all. I call it analysis paralysis, where you're so stuck in your head that the decision you make is not to make a decision at all. So those were the three options that everyone had over this past 15 months. Some reacted, some responded, some just put their head between their knees and closed their eyes and just held their breath. And I hope all this works out. Right. So depending on where you were then, is going to always, determine where you're going to be now, but also then looking forward. So keep an eye on that, and I'll be sharing more information about that as we kind of go through this, because like I said, we're not, we're growing through this, but we're not definitely through anything yet. We're not even close. When they give us the green light, and this bit, I was just in Chicago, and they're going into like phase 4.5 or whatnot, and that's not even fully open. So restaurants, businesses are still working at minimal, occupancy, capacity small. There's still a lot of, so every state's kind of in a different, realm. In Texas and Florida, a lot more open, but still with that, wherever you're at, there's still a lot of recovery that needs to happen. You can't just catch up 15 months later after, the economy and everything kind of shut down, and maybe 15 days. It's not going to happen, right? It's going to take probably 2 or 3 times that to get back, because all of that lost, time in business and everything else that was going on, it isn't an instant recovery. So we'll continue to go through that. But keeping your eyes open, keeping your mind open, like what else could you possibly be doing or be thinking about as you're kind of figuring out, like, what do these next 12 months look like of my life? And so if you're just coming into the beauty industry, I still think it's a great industry. I still think it's one of the best industries in the world. I still think there's a ton of opportunity, but I also want you to also keep an open mind to what the future of it looks like, because we're all kind of finding out that together. One of the big things I was talking to some of my stylists about were when it comes to certain services. When people were home for 3 months, 6 months, they learned how to maybe do their hair color effectively enough to get by, if it was a retouch. Some have learned how to cut their hair. They've been watching videos on YouTube. Some have learned how to cut their spouse's hair or their kids' hair. So all of that's happening, and people are learning how to do these things. In every industry, this happens, right? Pick one, auto. People learn how to change their own oil. Does that mean that if you open an oil changing shop, you're losing money? Yeah, but there's always going to be people that are not going to try it, don't want to do it. So there's not going to be a shortage. It's going to be a shift, right? No shortages, just shift. So think about how money's going to shift around, how your business is going to shift around. Think about if you're doing a basic color retouch, and now your basic color retouch business went down because so many people were doing the Madison Reeds or the e-salons or what are those at home, order it, they mail it to you, they give you a subscription, you can do a retouch, you got a 5, you got some gray, you covered it, it came out fine, you had your boyfriend or whoever help put it on in the back, and they covered it, they did okay. Guess what? It's a shift. That money shifted. So where does the opportunity live in your business right now to shift more money into that spot? Because you have a vacancy, right? Movie theaters are trying to think, like, they're like, okay, people aren't coming to watch movies. So now what? We've got all these vacancies. We got all these open seats. So they're going to have a lot in front of them, right? To get creative. How am I going to get people into these theaters? What else could I use this spot for, this vacancy for? What else could I sell? I know some theaters are talking about, renting out an hour. You bring in a group of your own people, and you pay by the hour, and you can have a little party, have your own little screening, have a host your own, group of friends, so that's creative, right? So you're in a creative industry, you're in the beauty industry. Now's the best time to be in a creative industry, because if you're creative, you're going to be fine. But if you're, sitting there like, now what? You're going to be screwed. Right. And the same thing, I don't care if you're in a salon, you're working in someone's salon, you own a salon, all of that creativity needs to be engaged right now, because you're thinking about diversification. You're thinking about your menu, thinking about what services you offer. You have to start thinking about what else can I do, sell, be, that's going to keep me moving forward into this career that you're engaged in. So those are, if you're new, if you're old school, you've been in it for a while, we're all like doing this little bit of a reinvention and doing this little bit of a discovery of not only ourselves, but what our potential could be. And that kind of brings me kind of full circle to, how did this scissor project start? and I was sharing this on, and we do have a podcast. If you go on TANZŌ HASAMI podcast, it's called TANZŌ Talks. If you go on our website, I'm going to take you guys on a little tour of the website here in a second. But this is a project that didn't happen overnight. I say this is 16 years in the making, because ever since I started cutting hair, I thought about, that tool, which my passion is cutting hair. So I thought about the tool that I use, and every single time I picked it up. And, one thing that really was on my mind was like, why the hell are scissors so damn expensive? When you start to get into a quality, pair of scissors, you'd be in the 500, 600, 700, 1,000, 1,500. I've seen 2,000. I've seen more than $2,000 a pair. It's like, why the hell are scissors so damn expensive? So that's kind of just been in the back of my head for 16 years. I was like, man, I wonder if I could do something about that, and do something and create something. And so that's what kind of was the seedling, if you will, of TANZŌ HASAMI, the brand, which now is live and launched. But becoming that has been 16 years and thousands of haircuts. And that's kind of how I came full circle to where we're at today, which is launching a industry first subscription-based scissor company. And a subscription-based meaning, for $25 a month, you're able to subscribe. You're able to get a $1,000 pair of scissors, and you're able to have that $25 a month recurring cover. Not only you have your scissors, you have your sharpening, you have events, you have education, you have a lot of different things that are a part of that subscription. And that subscription is constantly growing, and the features and benefits we're adding to 2 years, every 2 years, getting a new pair, things like that. And I'm going to show you some of those things, having the maintenance of your scissor all covered. And so I was like, that's a way to bring, a premium product, a premium pair of scissors to everyone, not just the people who can afford it, not just the people who can, I can shell out that kind of money, but for everyone. So essentially democratizing premium scissors for all. And that's kind of the goal. And so over the past several months, testing, finding the suppliers, testing the products, testing different scissors, all bubbling up and boiling up to our very first release, which is available for pre-orders now, of our first pair. And the first pair, we're calling them Air. So they're Air version 1.0, the first version of Air. And the goal with this first one is really about an all-around badass scissor, cut wet, cut dry, cut point, be able to pretty much do all elements of haircutting with this first one. So an all-around powerhouse, badass, workhorse pair. So that's the first goal, was to get that pair. And then already, right, back at the drawing board, thinking about this pair, thinking about the next pair, thinking about exclusive, wet cutting, exclusively dry cutting, exclusively this, that, there's, a swivel thumb, there's specific for, maybe a barber versus a stylist, different lengths. So there will be more. This is the first of many, the first one that we're launching. And I'm super excited to be able to share it with you and talk to you guys about it. So what I wanted to do is I want to give you a little tour of our website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my phone and take you on a quick tour of the website. So let's see, here we go. See if we can. Awesome. There we go. Very cool. All right, so here we go. So a little tour of the website. So this is our homepage. If you're going on to the website, it's just TANZOHASAMI.com, TANZOHASAMI.com. So now available for pre-orders. So that what I just kind of talked about, the premium scissor without the premium price tag. We have our sign up for our email list, because whenever collections are launching, new products are launching, events, different things are coming up. So you'll be able to do that right there. And then our navigation menu here, you can see a little about us, kind of shares a little bit of our story, just about, the name TANZŌ HASAMI translates easily to forge scissor, which is TANZŌ Forge Hasami scissor. And then our emblem, our logo there, that's the symbol for blade. So the company is a forged scissor blade company. And so that's the name. So got real creative. But just a little bit about us, go on there, check it out. Why are we here? How did we get here? And then we have this brand. Not only we're going to have scissors, we're going to have, the tools to cut hair for barbers, for stylists, but it's a lifestyle brand. We have the Tanzo wear section where you'll be able to see in a second. We have all kinds of swag. Some of the swag I'm wearing, our t-shirts, our hats, our hoodies, our travel gear, all that kind of cool stuff is in there. Educate. So building out an education platform, that's going to be huge. We're going to have a barber team. We're going to have a cutting team. So if you're thinking like, hey, I'm an educator, want to be an educator, want to be a platform artist, because we will eventually have shows. They will be virtual and they will also be in-person shows. We'll be back and we'll be at hair shows with our teams. So we're going to have education we can bring into salons, have education at hair shows. So that's going to be a big part of our platform. And we're going to be hiring. So if you're thinking, hey, I'd like to be involved in the TANZŌ HASAMI brand building, get in at the ground floor to be able to represent our brand, our scissors, and to go and introduce and help spread the message and spread the brand to other people. And then that last one, our texting program, we've got an awesome texting program where you can get text on exclusive offers, finding out things before other people may find out about them. So I'll show you that in a second. So the cuts, we're going to go under Tanzo cuts. So our first pair, which is the Air version 1.0s, that's these guys right here. And so the way that it works is you'd come on here, you can see a beautiful image of our scissors, and it's $25 a month, and that's it. You select your blade. So this first pair is going to be in the cuts. We have 3 sizes, and the thinning, which is available in 6-inch only. It's a 30-inch thinning scissor. So that's one other option that you have. And then we have one right now for lefties. For my lefties out there, I haven't forgot about you. Those will be available in 6-inch, cutting scissors only to start with. And so you come through, you'd pick, your cuts, you'd pick the size. We have a 5.5, you have a 6-inch, and we have a 7. You pick the size that you want, and then you'd hit subscribe and simply check out. And we're going to start shipping these on July 1st. So if you're signing up now, we do have a limited number available. So this first introductory run, there's only so many. So if you're interested, I'm telling you, you're going to love them. I've been using them. My partner, Josh, has been using them. We've been cutting a bunch of hair with them, and we love them. And we're hair cutters. So this is, designed by hair cutters for hair cutters, and you're going to love them. Make sure if you're thinking about it, get on there and subscribe, and, as soon as you can. Stop listening to this right now and go subscribe, because I'm telling you, they're going to be gone, and then you're going to be waiting, and you're going to be mad. You didn't get on, and you didn't get them right away. So a couple things to kind of highlight. The Air V1s, so perfectly balanced. They're lightweight, great for wet and dry and precision cutting. And your subscription includes, so you're going to get the scissor case, the oil pen, the cleaning cloth, when you get your package shipped to you. You're also going to get a free scissor sharpening and maintenance once a year. So it's a little birthday present. So every year you'll be able to get, and I'm excited about this because the way that it's going to work is, so you're getting your scissor sharpened once a year for free, part of your subscription. So the way it works is you need your scissors sharpened. You let us know. What we're going to do is we're going to then send you a pair of scissors that you're going to be able to use for the next couple of weeks while yours are getting maintenance and sharpened. You'll have a brand new pair. You'll use those. You won't send us yours until you get the one that you're going to use. Once you have those, boom, we'll send you, you send your scissor back to us in a nice padded, we'll have a self-addressed envelope in there for you. You'll send your scissor back to us. We're going to maintenance it completely, take it apart, check all of the parts, check the bearings, check the washers, check the screw, take care of everything, sharpen it, get it all put back together. Then we're going to send it back to you. Now, once you get it back, then you'll send that pair that you've been using back to us. Or who knows, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll want to add them on to your subscription. So we're going to definitely take care of that. And then scissor upgrades. So every 2 years, you'll have an opportunity to upgrade. Some of our subscribers, there may be ways that you can get early upgrade available because you saw a new version came out or a new pair that you really want to get. So that upgrade to where you can essentially just swap out your scissor. Every 2 years, you're guaranteed you're going to get a new scissor and have the option to upgrade every 2, we call that. So that's another really cool part. And then the education, the platforms, and the teams, which I talked a little bit about. We're going to have for our subscribers some exclusive content. We're going to be putting out a lot of education, but we'll have some exclusive subscriber only content in areas that you can navigate to. And one of the things I'm most excited about is the events and the shows. We're going to have online events. We're also going to have in-person events. Some events will have subscriber only events. You'll get more details on that in the future, but we're really going to be building out, in a community of haircutters that we're going to support each other. We're going to have awesome education, awesome tools, and really kind of grow and be there with you along the way. So that's kind of how this company is going to work, and it's nothing like it. I think you guys are really going to love it. Go through the wares real quick. So all kinds of cool swag. If you want to get dipped, you want to start repping the brand, you can come and check out this area. Just go to TANZŌ Wear section and take a look at some of the hoodies, the beanies, all of the different swag that we have in there. Get a new case for your iPhone. You can represent TH that way. If you're going for travel, we have stuff for guys, girls, different fits, all kinds of cool stuff. I'm excited about this. You're going to see me wearing a lot of it. And, being able to kind of design and pick these things out, it's been a lot of fun and kind of creating and building this brand. So I think you're really going to like it. And then more tools to come. We're going to have tools, for our barbers. We're working on, razors, combs, different things like that. Speaking of combs, our first 100 subscribers are going to get free, which will be one of these beautiful space aluminum combs. They come in rose gold, a platinum. We've got a yellow gold. We got a slate gray, and we got like an onyx black color. So you'll see these on our website for $1,000. Ha ha ha. If you want to spend that, go for it. Be my guest. But the goal is, we're not trying to sell them. We want to give them away. So it's a limited edition, and we'll be giving these to the first 100 subscribers. They're beautiful. They're nice in your hand. They look awesome. They're great to use. And so we'll have these available. So make sure if you're thinking about it, subscribe early so you can get one of those combs. They're already going out to people. So that's a little tour of the website and the texting program, which I talked about a little bit. If you go on here and you'll fill this short form out, and then you'll be part of our text community. So you can get, a couple texts from us every month about what's happening and what's going on around the TANZŌ HASAMI community. So that's what's happening there. And that's, coming into, what's been going on. We've had a lot of time to really kind of think about, I've been thinking about the future and how I'm diversifying and creating new, I guess you could say verticals within my realm. Like I'm in the beauty industry, right? So things that I'm doing, new lines of business that I'm creating are predominantly going to be where my main space is, my main time, energy, effort, resources, money. It's all involved in the beauty industry. So for me, it was a no-brainer, and my passion behind hair cutting and cutting, just in scissors in general. And I've used them all. I've used from the $100 cheap pair from, the beauty supply all the way up to, that $2,000 pair. And so when I set out with these, is really to bring you that $1,000 plus pair, get it into your hands for something that is reasonable and realistic for all people. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Thanks for letting me share a little bit of it about the company with you. Any questions, comments, hit me up on Instagram at SunnyD 1.0. We do have an Instagram for TANZŌ HASAMI, just at TANZŌ HASAMI on everything, on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And then the website, of course, is tanzhasami.com. So follow us, get involved, get more information. Any questions, hit me up. Let me know what I can answer for you. Let me know how I can help and support you. If you're already a subscriber and you're listening to this, I'm glad to have you. Glad that you're a part of the family. We've already had people setting up their subscriptions and signing up at their subscriptions. already, and I'll be out in some of our other Palmetto schools. Just went to Chicago, going to be going to our Tampa home, like local, going to be going to Arkansas, Missouri. There's other schools that I've talked to, Rhode Island, going to be coming around the country as we kind of celebrate this launch over these next couple of months. But we're going to start shipping July 1st. If you want to hop on and get on there early, like I said, they are limited in number in our first run. So I don't want you to wait. If you're thinking, I'm telling you, you're going to love them. So don't wait. Hop on there. If you need any help with anything, let us know and reach out. So that's what I kind of want to celebrate with you guys. I'm super excited to be back talking to the YFY community. You guys have been awesome. We've got so many people that are listening and have listened and, send me messages from the podcast community, like thousands. It's pretty awesome to see. So share this with a friend, share this with somebody, a colleague, share this with your instructor at your school, share this with your salon owner. If you're interested in having a little cutting session, coming in, I'll come into the salon and, cut with the scissors and let you guys check them out. Whatever you guys want to do. I'm going to get back to cutting hair with them right now because I'm working on some stuff, but I just wanted to make sure I got to talk to you guys about that. So thanks again for tuning in to the YFYI podcast. Hopefully, you're as excited as I am to be in the beauty industry and to see what the beauty industry becomes, because we're all going to be kind of learning this together. We're all going to be kind of navigating it together. But hopefully, as you're kind of going through it, I can lend you a helping hand, and maybe one day you'll lend me a helping hand back. So I'd appreciate that. And for now, guys, that's all I've got. Excited to talk to you guys next week on the next episode. Make sure you check out at Your First Year In on Instagram and yourfirstyearin.com if you guys want to check out anything with the YFY book series, book 1, book 2, or anything else YFYI related. So for now, that's all I got. Thanks for listening to the YFYI podcast, guys, and I'll talk to you real soon. And remember, this is the place where you come to learn how to build your business right once, the first time, your first year in, or else you'll be doomed to have to build it again. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.